Well, welcome. Uh, Although you're getting ready to end this thing, have you had a good time this week? Is it worthwhile to take part in this? Well, you were selected because of your leadership capabilities, your record of volunteerism, intelligence, ingenuity, and the like. And Lonnie tells me that you've lived up to all of those expectations. So I'm proud of this class. Roger Scholar's been going on now for how long? 15 years. Goodness gracious, that's older than you all are. But I run into graduates of Roger Scholars all over the country, as a matter of fact. And they all tell me that this get-together, this Roger Scholars program, was a major trigger in their life. Now, the reason for Roger Scholars is that I want you back here after you get your education to work in your home region, because we need you. When I graduated from high school in Wayne County, there was just no opportunities there. There was no chance to stay. So I was forced, like so many of our young people, including your parents and grandparents, were forced to leave their home and go somewhere else to find a job. Well, this center is testimony to the fact that we want to create those jobs here so that we can keep you here and turn your talents back into our region to help it be better, to help it give a chance to people like you coming on later a chance to stay at home. I didn't want to leave. I love these hills and hollers and creeks and streams and the people. And it's the people I knew and loved and was kin to and wanted to be around and all of that, but I was forced off to a cold and distant city in the north. And that left a mark on me. So the Roger Scholars is an attempt, and it's working, to entice our best and brightest back to the home region after you finish your education. How many of you plan to go to college? All right. Well, don't let anything stand in the way of that. In this world these days, you've got to have that college education. Now, what do you major in? Well, you're probably going to change once or twice, like most of us. I wanted to be an astronaut, so I started out in physics. But the math was too boring, so I switched off to law. So you'll switch a time or two, take my word for it, nothing wrong with that. But whatever it is you choose something that you like to do. Don't choose something that somebody says you have to do this because it's a must and blah, 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 blah. Major in what you enjoy and what you like to do. And I hope a big part of that is social studies. And I hope that a lot of you will take leadership roles in your community and in your school before that, and help with the chores that we're trying to work on here. This center, as I'm sure you have been exposed to, is the headquarters of Pride. It's the headquarters of Unite, the anti-drug effort. It's the headquarters of the SCED, the group trying to bring industry and jobs into our region, tourism, and reform of education, not to mention all of the cultural activities that the center puts on its own, and other programs like Roger Scholars. So this center is a place for you to continue to call your headquarters. You're not through with us, I hope. We're not through with you. Even though you graduate today and tonight from this program, we expect you to continue to be a part of this center and its activities, and we're going to try to be a part of your life as well. A lot of the graduates of the program tell me that they made friends that are 10 years older now, but are still close friends. So these people that you've been with this week, you're going to see a lot of them over the years. They're going to pop up in leadership roles in their community, as you do, and you'll see them in action. And that's one of the great benefits of this program. It's a camaraderie that will continue the rest of your life. So like being a part of a fraternity. Rogers Scholars, you'll run across them in your travels, and you'll have something very much in common. So I want for the best for you, and I want you to continue your education without any interference, and then come home. We'll have some exciting things to do, as we're doing now. Now I'm going to try to answer any questions that somebody may have. Lonnie?
And we have lots of questions, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Stand up.
My name is Ashley Johnson from Pulaski County, and my question was, what is the biggest problem that our region is facing?
Well, lack of jobs, still. It's worse as you go east into the coal fields, where the coal mines are shutting down and laying off hundreds of people. In the last few months, we've lost 1,600 jobs in the coal fields. So jobs are all important. That keeps you here. That keeps you raising your family here. That keeps you bringing your innovation and your ingenuity to us, rather than shipping you off to Cincinnati or Houston or wherever. So in the big sense, it's the jobs. Do you agree with that or not? What do you think is the biggest problem?
I don't know. I am not up there. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, dear.
I was very curious as to what gave you the idea to start this program.
The Rogers Scholars?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was an effort to try to recognize the best and brightest in our whole region, to get them together. We thought if we got them together, they would share. There would be a spark that would ignite, and it's true it has. It was an effort to try to encourage those best and brightest to stay here when they finish their school, so that we can build our region up. You know, we finance some of the best schools anywhere, some of the best students. The raw material going into our high schools is just terrific and coming out. But then we ship them off somewhere else, and somewhere else gets the benefit of what we've invested in them. Ypsilanti, Michigan, for example, I like to use as an example. A lot of our best and brightest over the generations of time have moved to Ypsilanti, Michigan. And they built a nice community there, nice community center and civic center and all sorts of things. But they were former Kentuckians that are enriching Ypsilanti. Well, I want that for here. I want to enrich our region with your talent. So that's what this is all about. Yeah. Yeah, we go.
Brianna Scott from Greene County. I was just wondering what you believe is the greatest impact that Rogers Scholars has on us.
I think probably self-confidence. I think the fact that you were picked and have very successfully completed this program should make you feel like you're a cut above, and you are, and that we expect a lot of you. And that is exactly true. This is not something we just give you as a fun thing to do. This is what the center feels like is an investment in the future, by training its best and brightest, to encouraging them to stay at home and volunteer and do good things for our home region. I think all of you should feel a great deal of pride in the fact that you were picked to be a part of this and have met some of the best and brightest in our whole region. Another reason is you're part of something much bigger than yourself with this group. Represented here are the best and brightest from West Virginia, halfway across Kentucky, and it's a big chunk of the state, about a third or fourth of its geography, and you're part of that. and you're exposed to people from the other parts of our region. And you learn from them, and they learn from you. And I want you to realize that we have to be cohesive in our region. Our counties are very small. Our counties are poor. Kentucky has 120 counties, way too many because they're too poor to do much. So we've got to reach across the county lines and ally ourselves with each other over a region, which gives us a chance then to be able to do things we couldn't do separately, like this center, like this professional staff that runs this program, among others. So regionalism, I want you to train your sights on the horizon, not on the ground in front of you. And that's what Roger Scholars hopefully encourages you to do. Yeah.
My name is Anna Lee Morrow, and I'm from Garrett County. And I was just wondering what you did before you became a congressman and how that has affected you as you went into politics.
Well, I was a practicing lawyer here in Somerset, and then I ran and was elected to be a Commonwealth's attorney, the prosecuting attorney, DA, for this county in Rockcastle County, and did that for 11 years. And then the seat in Congress came open. My predecessor was retired, and I ran and won this job. In the meantime, I ran for lieutenant governor in '79 and managed different campaigns for others all during the '70s. But this job was what I really wanted to do, and I've been doing it now for a good while. Thank you. Yeah. I think you had your hand up 2 or 3 times.
Right, Kelly.
Yep.
Good, she's bringing this one. So I was just wondering, like, what kind of jobs you think that our area is most in need of? Like, what kind of professions that we need the most?
What kind of what?
Professions, like jobs should we try to go into to help our region the most?
Well, I think any profession you would choose has an audience here. Medical, business, legal, whatever. I think anything that you would train yourself for a big city, I think would work here for the most part. But do what you enjoy doing. Do what you want to do. Don't do what somebody says you have to do, because you won't be happy with it. And the number one thing is to be happy in what you're doing, and you'll be a success.
Hi, I'm Courtney Hamlin. I'm from Breathitt County. I guess this is kind of a political question. I was just a little curious. I'm from a county that survives on coal, and I mean, my dad's a coal miner, and I've had a bunch of family that's lost jobs because of it, and we're constantly worried that he's going to lose his. And people say all the time that if we do, my county won't be one that'll survive because it's literally what everybody does there. I was just wondering, like, what your thoughts on it would be of how we would keep it going, like keep my county running.
Well, it's one of the toughest chores that we all have. Certainly the toughest chore I have is jobs. And those jobs in the coal fields in East Kentucky, those miners are making sometimes $70,000. And all of a sudden they're without a job, looking for a waiter job at the McDonald's that pays minimum wage. And it's a sad, terrible thing. The administration in Washington has declared war on coal. They want to outlaw its burning and its use and its mining, and they're succeeding. A lot of us are fighting that war against them, but they're winning so far. Number one, I'm going to try to keep those jobs. But secondly, we've got to diversify regardless of what else we do. You look at counties like Bell, where Middlesboro is, and Pineville, and Barberville, and even Laurel County and Clay County, formerly were heavy coal mining counties. But the seams sort of ran out, and they became uneconomical to mine them, and the companies moved deeper into the mountains. But those counties have survived, and they've found other things to do. They've diversified their economy. They've found jobs in other businesses, and they are doing well. So there is a transition period, obviously, if worse comes to worse and coal is outlawed. But there is a future, but we've got to be open to other things. Yep.
Blake Morris, Pulaski County. As far as economic development, what do you see for southeastern Kentucky in the next 10 years?
I didn't hear you.
As far as economic development, what do you see for southeastern Kentucky in the next 10 years?
Yeah. Well, the center here has been on the leading edge of trying to take advantage of the new world as we now know it. In former years, in order to attract jobs in a factory, you had to have, a river with a barge to ship your ore in, or you had to have a major highway to ship your products through trucks, or you had to have a train station to ship your product in and out. So it limited us in the hills of Kentucky because we didn't have much of any of that. And so we had to leave and go find jobs where they were. But nowadays, in this information age, what you do at your factory is process information or deal with it. So the information that is your ore comes to you not by train, plane, or rail. It comes to you through the air. And mountains make no difference. Those satellite dishes and internet connections defy gravity and defy bad terrain. So all of a sudden, we've got plants, for example, in Williamsburg. The State Department has a huge operation there that processes visas from all around the world. Some of the most expert jobs in the world are right there. Why? Because there's a good work ethic. Our people want to stay home, and they'll work hard to keep that job so they can stay home. And so there's a big incentive for them to satisfy their employer. FBI has an operation as well. The Immigration Service has an operation like that. There's call centers throughout. Safety, what's the insurance? Safe Auto is just out of town here that processes data. And so the new jobs, I think, put us in the middle for the first time of the world labor market, because we're not limited by our terrain or lack of good highways or barge lines or trains or what have you. So those new IT jobs are what we're going after with a good deal of success. I like to half joke in saying that what we're trying to create here is Silicon Holler, as opposed to Silicon Valley, California. Silicon Holler, because we can do those jobs, and they're good paying, and we're successful in getting them. That's sort of where I see us going in the future, and it's already happening.
Isn't that? Yes.
Madison Hatfield, Pulaski County. And I was just wondering, speaking of college, do you suggest trying out different fields before you actually stick to one, or do you should we set our mind on one and just go for it?
Well, I will defer to your school counselors. They know much more about this than I do. All I know is my own experience. More than likely, you have already, each of you, been attracted to a certain type of work or a profession or what have you several times. I started out wanting to be a cowboy, and then it was cops and robbers, and then later on I wanted to be an astronaut in the space program, and then a journalist, and then law, and then politics. So you're going to change 2 or 3 or 4 times. So just enjoy it, knowing it's going to be a good ride. Pick something that you really enjoy, and that may change. You may change your mind after you look into it some. But your school counselors are better equipped than me to advise you on that. But don't be afraid to try something new if you don't think what you're trying out for is not the greatest thing in the world.
Who's next? Get a couple more. Jocelyn?
I'm Jocelyn Isaac from Floyd County, and I'm just wondering your opinion. I know that the economy is becoming more globally focused, and I just want to know if you think that Southeast Kentucky, if we're going to prosper from that, from the materials we get here like the coal, or is that going to like kind of downgrade our economy at all, or will it change any?
Well, it's going to be a challenge. The jobs we're losing in the coal fields are going to hurt real bad because counties like Floyd and Pike, Breathitt, and others, so dependent upon the coal jobs, and that's about all there is. And that's, in effect, hampered us over the years because no one would venture out and try some other occupation because you're going to make so much money in the mines. Why bother? So the challenge that we've had, and the center is involved in that in a big way, South Kentucky Economic Development Corporation, headquartered here, has been in business for 25 years trying to recruit business and industry into our region with some degree of success. We're going to have to redouble our efforts. And counties like Floyd are going to have to try to diversify. And I think the fertile field, again, is IT, because we have good work ethic, which is the main ingredient in that. And anymore, you don't have to have these external transportation things to get jobs. But it's going to take an extra special effort, and we're going to go through a period of decline here, I'm afraid, as the administration in Washington tries to outlaw coal, and they're succeeding. So unless we can change the White House this fall, coal is in for a real siege.
One more. Who's next? Come on, I got one more question.
Yeah.
Right here. Oh, okay. Either one. We can do both.
I'm Rye Chiller, and I'm from Perry County. And you said earlier that we were trying to break down county boundaries in the state of Kentucky. Is there anything that you have in mind, or you or the leaders of those counties, to break down the borders and help us work together?
Yeah, and that's what the center's all about. And all of the things the center does. Pride, 42 counties. Unite, 42 counties. The tourism group, 45 counties, and so on. That's what this is all about, is to create some initiatives that everybody needs, like jobs, tourist promotion, fighting the drug problem, picking up the trash. Everybody needs that, but we can best achieve that if we unite as one big umbrella group headquartered here. That's why we had 33,000 volunteers this past April in the Pride cleanup campaign. That's a lot of people, but it covers such a huge area. But we're never legally probably going to do away with counties. That's politically impossible. But what we can do and are doing and should do is find common problems all of us have, and then create a region-wide group to deal with that problem. And that's what all of these groups are doing, including the center and including Rogers Scholars. One of the problems we have is keeping our young best and brightest at home when they finish their graduation from college. Thus, Rogers Scholars, covering all of East Kentucky. to try to get you to stay here and to give you some challenges.
I'm Kayla Olpert from Estill County, and I know here at the center we have like a focus on. I know at the center we have a focus on like our education. I was just wondering, with everything else going on in our country today, if there's any focus in Congress on like rural education and development.
I couldn't hear you. Speak a bit louder.
I was just wondering, with everything else going on in our country, if there's any focus on rural development and our education.
Oh, for rural development?
Yes.
Absolutely. And I'm one of the people driving that wagon. In allocating federal funds, I help write the budget. And just yesterday, I directed the staff on the Appropriations Committee to move some money over into rural development. So there will be more money available for things that we need in our neck of the woods and in rural America. But, you know, you're fighting the odds because the big city people have more votes than we do. So it takes a bit of special emphasis to get things done sometimes.